Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Good Christian Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Zane Carpenter, leader of the greatest team in the league, Jamark of the Beast. We have a lot to go through today. Mini injuries, power rankings. We're going to have an overreaction hotline, punishment watch, matchup of the week, recap of last week. Many different things to go through. But first, we're going to start off today with our sponsorship from Spectrum Snack Shack. So, Spectrum Snack Shack, the food truck dishing out chaos for your fantasy football meltdowns. Try Tyler's fry bread fumble in a greasy tower of regret, piled high enough to hide his 1 in 5 shame. With extra sauce and his future is vivid mantra, sung like he's auditioning for Somewhere Over the Rainbow remake, but with more sweat. Julia's Amon the Spectrum nachos are a train wreck of toppings, drafted like her 1 in 5 roster. So autistic, it's like she's sorting players by jersey color instead of stats. Sean's Vape Lord rap, born from his 3 in 3 limbo, blends smoky haze with the tears of 47 X's and his Ditch Trujillo last name. Because nothing says mid like a guy who fapes through his own chaos. Grab your grub at SpectrumSnackShack.com and use code AUTISM for a free drink and chew through your losses. Alright, back to the show. I want to welcome you all. So we're going to start off here. Last week we had some injuries. Lamarvelous lost that Jets dude. Don't even need to know his name. No, just kidding. He lost Garrett Wilson. Potentially lose Marvin Harrison Jr. Looks like he's going to be in this week. Deebo Samuel questionable. I don't know. Joe the Bengal King, out. Quite the outdated name, is defeated Lamarvelous last week. 117.25 to 77.75 Lamarvelous. Lamarvelous is our trash team of last week, even though he is 4-2. The combination of 77 points led by Rachaad White and then followed by the Denver Broncos defense was not enough to defeat Braden Capel, whose top player was Jalen Hurts, 23.4, his first round pick, beating his total. Go to last week, the game between the Uncrustables and Jamark of the Beast. Jamark of the Beast wins 160 to 130. Lead scorers in that matchup were Josh Jacobs with 32 and George Pickens with 37. It was Rico Dowdle with almost 40, 39.9 last week. War and Peace defeats Amon the Spectrum 104 to 85. Top performers Patrick Mahomes and Jaden Daniels. Oh My Josh loses 107 to 137 to Team Pack, who is currently 6-0 and first in the Pikes Peak Conference. Oh My Josh is fourth currently in the Heartland Conference after this defeat. Top performers for each team: DeAndre Swift for Oh My Josh and Jackson Smith and Jigba, no surprise there, 36 points for Team Pack. The Wyoming Redskins versus I Hate AJ Brown. Very good matchup here. Sean Steinhardt of I Hate AJ Brown gets the dub, 128 to 106. Top performers, BJ Robinson had a day, 41.8. That might have been the most in the league last week, I'm not sure. And then just really a lot of consistency, 25.2 from Kendrick Bourne, only protected 11.2. A very good overachieving record there. I Just Cam a Little defeats Baker touchdown maker, 149 to 131. So yeah, those covers the matchups. I would say that I Just Cam a Little versus Baker touchdown maker was the matchup of the week last week. Two high-scoring teams, both ranked well in their division. Actually, both ranked second in both of their divisions, respectively. So that was really good. Yep, covered Merlot Marvelous. Let's see if there's any injuries for this week that we did not see here. Let me look. If there was, I'm not sure. Let me see. Wasn't prepared for that, but it's interesting to know. Scoreboard, week 7. Let's see our matchups here. Any significant injuries? Jamark of the Beast does not have any significant injuries. Jamar Chase put up 44.1 on 16 receptions on Thursday night, which puts Lamarvelous in quite the hole. Lamarvelous will be losing Lamar Jackson still and Garrett Wilson and Brock Bowers, so he is pretty plagued by injuries. Injuries here. Aaron Jones is still out for Amon the Spectrum. Puka Nacua and Dalton Kincaid are going to be out for Uncrustables. Big losses there. Emeka Egbuka, questionable. From what I understand, I think it is doubtful. So that could take a little toll on Team Pack, but Team Pack still is 60-40 to beat War and Peace. War and Peace has George Kittle on IR, but he has him currently starting, so he'll need to address that. Don't know what that's about. I Hate AJ Brown. Thursday night matchup. -4 points from the Steelers, which gives Oh My Josh a good chance to win. Oh My Josh also had 21.6 points from T. Higgins, who had 96 yards, 1 touchdowns on 6 receptions. So very good game for him, too. Good game for the Bengals in general. For them, Bucky Irving is still out, which will help LaMarvelous, who has Rachaad White. So that'll be good for him. We have a matchup, Baker touchdown maker versus the Wyoming Redskins, 60-40 in favor of Baker. However, Baker left Chase Brown on his bench, who put 18 points up in his best game of the year, 108 yards. And that must have been some reception yards in that as well. Oh, we got one more. Joe the Bengal King put up 25.8 points through Jaylen Warren on Thursday night. Gives him a 45% chance to beat I Just Cam a Little from Caden Larson, 3-3 versus 2-4 in that matchup. Okay, we're going to have an overreaction hotline here. I think that'll be coming up soon later today. That might be at the end of the show, an overreaction hotline. We will see. The stat of shame for last week, I think there's plenty. I think one that sticks out to me is Jets quarterback Justin Fields. Trash. I think he had like 4 points. I could check, but that'll take time. Don't want to do that. Freiermuth had a great game. Don't think anybody has him, but he had a spectacular game the other night. Any interesting games coming up this week? The Giants versus the Broncos could be interesting. 4-2 versus 2-4. Let's see. Oh, Punishment Watch. On Punishment Watch this week, we have Tyler Deegan, who is the Wyoming Redskins, racist. We have Amon the Spectrum, Julia Carpenter, not doing great. And we have Joe the Bengal King with the outdated name, mainly because there's 2 weeks where he played a guy that was out. I don't know why he did that, but he did. Okay, now we're going to move on to our Week 7 Power Rankings. These are the Week 7 Power Rankings. They are absolutely authoritative. I'm never wrong. Okay, so first place, should be no surprises, Team Pack. Team Pack is absolutely stacked. Yeah, she's going to be a little bit weaker this week without Emeka Egbuka. Frankly, doesn't matter. Every good player that could have came off the wires or could have came as a sleeper, she has. Ashton Jency's fully getting to stride. Javonte's still good. I think he had a hard week last week. Didn't matter. She still won. Jackie Smith-Njigba is absolutely the number one target. Trey McBride, Krosky Merritt, yeah, no doubt. She's the best. Second best team in the league is Baker, touchdown maker, who is getting back CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans potentially this week. Could be huge for him. He's projected to score 150 points, and not a single one of his players has played yet. So that could be very big. He has some of the best receivers in the league. He is the best running back in the league in Jonathan Taylor. It's just spectacular. Now we have, in third place, I Just Cam a Little, Caden Larson. 3-3. There are teams out there that have a better record. However, Caden just has a very well put together team, 2 strong running backs, good receiving core. And, just this week he plays Joe the Bengal King, projected to win right now. We'll see if that stays, but right now I have him as my 3. The fourth best team in the power rankings, we have Jamarca the Beast. Should be number 1, but, whatever. 44 points already put up on Thursday. Swings it heavily in his favor, 69-31. He has potentially the strongest wide receiver core in the league. He has a number 4, number 5, and Rashee Rice returning, Jordan Addison, who's put up double digits in every single game he's played so far, and Pearsall, who's been good but injured, so hopefully he'll come back healthy here soon. Running back core could use some help, but Josh Jacobs is solid. Travis Etienne is where the weakness comes through. Going on to number 5, we have the team Uncrustables coming back from last year, where I think he started off 0-5, 0-6. I'm not sure exactly. He has a very strong wide receiver core this week, not so much with Puka Nacua out, right? But we're basing it on what we did last week. Rico Dowdle, if he maintains what he's doing, he might become the best running back in the league. There's no doubt about it. Tony Pollard, not great, but I have him in my 5. Then we move on to LaMarvelous. LaMarvelous goes down a little bit. His wide receiver core has been shaky at times. He may lose 2 wide receivers this week, though. It looks like Marvin Harrison's probably going to play. Very good running back core right now. Well, Saquon's been shaky, but Rashad's been good since Bucky Irving's been out. We'll see if that remains. Power rankings, number 7, I hate A.J. Brown. Started off the year, one of the worst teams in the league. A.J. Brown's got better since he sent out his complaining Instagram story, so that's been good. Jahmyr Gibbs, great. Travion Henderson, shaky. Jameson Williams, risky play. Your decision. Chris Olave, he's been good. Up and down, inconsistent. And then now we got number 8, which is his opponent, Oh My Josh. Oh My Josh has been consistent enough to be 3-3. Has a little bit of a shaky wide receiver core, though. T. Higgins did well on Thursday. Running backs, J.K. Dobbins has been consistent. DeAndre Swift's been pretty good. But when Bucky Irving returns, I mean, fantastic. And also Josh Allen, I assume she'll switch out ways. No, Josh is on a bye. So, but anyway, normal week, Josh Allen, yeah, spectacular. Now we go on to our number 9, which is going to be War and Peace. War and Peace, one of the best running backs in the league. Actually, he could be number 1 right now. I'm not sure. Christian McCaffrey. Zach Charbonnet has been okay because he's been getting all the goal line touches and touchdowns. Cortland Sutton has been good. Cooper Kupp shaky. George Kittle on IR is going to have to replace them. Rashid Shaheed, not great, but did great last week. So before we get into our bottom 3 here, we have another ad. All right, league losers. It's ad time with Buzzed Berry Blends, the smoothie shop run by Braden and Caden, 2 guys whose driving records are more checkered than your waiver wire regrets. If your fantasy team's crashing harder than their cars, blend up Braden's DUI Delight, a boozy berry blast that's 100% alcohol-free but tastes like the morning after their latest court date. Caden's MIP Madness Special, it's got that extra kick of underage rebellion mixed with mango and a faint whiff of minor and possession fines. Perfect for your 0-6 squad needs, a wake-up call that doesn't involve sirens. These smoothies are so smooth you'll forget why you're not starting your benchwarmer quarterback. Swing by Buzzed Berry Blends or use code RECTROSTER for a free lid. Drink irresponsibly. Back to the breakdowns. All right, boys, we have a bottom three here. So we have 2 1-5 teams left, and we have a 2-4 team left. That's Joe the Bengal King. You'd assume Joe the Bengal King would be next just because he's 2-4, but I don't have him next. No, at number 10, I have him on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. Also, one of the best wide receiver cores, and at great depth in the league. She's had some injuries she's had to deal with, but I'm on Raw, back, Nico Collins, back, Quentin Johnson. I mean, they're just, even Michael Pittman, bad week last week. Jawan Jennings has been injured and been a little shaky since then, but some of the best wide receivers in the league. Picked up Hassan Haskins last week. Didn't work out. A little bit of a miss on the waiver wire. Actually picked up by the Wyoming Redskins, but Wyoming Redskins already has very great running back depth, so I'm not sure the decision making there, but it's always good to have a good player, I guess. Jordan Mason. Kenneth Walker's been hurt by Charbonnet taking the touchdowns. Jane Daniels has been consistent, but the record's just not there. 1-5. The defense just hasn't been good, apparently. So we go to number 11. Final 2, left people left. We have the Wyoming Redskins and then Joe the Bengal King. At number 11, we do have the Wyoming Redskins. And I know I'm putting 2 1-5 teams over a 2-4 team, but I do believe this is true. The Wyoming Redskins have probably, in my opinion, the best running back setup in the league, with James Cook, Bijan, Judkins, now Vidal. We have some of the best running backs there are. Where in the heck are they? Caleb Boone's been consistent in fantasy for the most part. Now, what's been hurting the Wyoming Redskins has been their lack of consistency at wide receiver. They have wide receivers that can go off. Brian Thomas Jr. last week had his best game of the year. I think 26 points, something like that. But he has been unable to do that every week. Xavier Worthy might take a hit from Rashee Rice being back. Tet is the number 1 option. Got his first touchdown last week, but still has been inconsistent. So it's yet to see what's going to happen with that. But that leaves our last team to be Joe the Bengal King. I'm sorry there, Braden, but I just look at this team and Jalen Hurts ended up being a fine first-round pick, even though he got flamed for it. But and Breece Hall's been good, but Stevenson's not great. Drake London had his kind of first really good week last week, which is great to see. DJ Moore's I don't think's been all too consistent. Kyle Pitts I think's been okay. Jaylen Warren obviously did great. Derrick Henry has been super inconsistent. Great last week. Terry McLaurin's been out. Brock Purdy's been out. Darius Slay's out. Jaden Reed's on IR. I mean, you're just beat up. So this week, have you at number 12. Deal with it. Okay, what do we got here? We already talked about punishment walk. Matchup of this week. I think I already talked about it, or did I? I'm not sure. I mean, it's a big week. We can go through the matchups here. We'll just go through the matchups. So big week for Wyoming Redskins, right? 1-5. They're not necessarily out of the playoff run. They're only a couple games out of third place, I think. But they got to win, and they're going against a absolute unit of Baker touchdown maker, especially with both of his wide receivers back. Now, sometimes when they come back right away, they're not great. But if Brian Thomas performs, there's a shot. But right now, the odds are not in his favor. Joe the Bengal King versus I just Cam a little. Like I said, 45-55 after Thursday night when Jaylen Warren put up 25.8 points. I don't know if Drake London goes off. This is a close 50-50. Pretty big game for both of these teams to stay in playoff contention. I mean, they're both right there on the bubble. A loss here for either of them could be serious and missing the top 6 and top 3 in their divisions. We go to I Hate AJ Brown. Before the week started, I believe he had a higher chance, almost 50-50. Now it's 43-57 after the Thursday night after T. Higgins goes off and the Steelers just suck it up. But I understand why he played the Steelers, but he probably put him in before the Joe Flacco trade. So probably leaning in the way of Oh My Josh. Super big game for both 3-3. We have 6 teams that are 3-3 right now. So a lot of people fighting for it, and then even 4-2. I mean, you go on to a later game here with or I guess one I already covered, Baker touchdown maker. I mean, if he loses 4-3, all of a sudden he's in danger of falling out of the playoffs. So big game there. Team Pack. I mean, I'd be surprised if Team Pack doesn't roll War and Peace. 60-40. It does hurt. She has to play Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith has not been great, so that could hurt her, but she's still, a lot of her team is still very solid. But you never know. I mean, there could be consistency, and especially if War and Peace changes out that tight end position. I'm on the spectrum. Kind of very similar to Wyoming Redskins. Not out of the playoff race, but needs a win this week. Thursday night definitely seemed to help a little bit with... where did he get his 8 points? DK Metcalf only getting 8 points. So projected to beat Uncrustables. A big game for Uncrustables too. 3-3. Any 3-3, 4-2, 2-4, 1-5. They gotta win this week. Really, the only person that doesn't need to win this week is Kaylee. That's Team Pack is just me. But we'll see how that goes in the playoffs. Jamarca the Beast, Marvelous. Both big game for both of them. 3-3, 4-2. Leaning heavily towards Jamarca the Beast right now, and we'll see what happens. Injury bug got the Marvelous. Kind of hurts him, which is great for me. But okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull up a wheel. We're gonna do hate mail of the week. But first, before hate mail of the week, before the wheel, we have a word from our sponsor. So let's pause for a word from our sponsor, which is ZC's Heartbreak Hot Wings, where Zane and Zach, the ZC initialed girlfriend poachers, serve up spicy chaos hotter than your league's group chat. If your fantasy team's flopping harder than Zach's warming the football bench or Zane collecting splinters in baseball, grab the Swipe and Cry Wings. These fiery drumsticks burn like the bridges they torch stealing those brothers' girls, with a sauce that screams, I'm a starter in my own mind. Or try Zane's Trade Trash Tenders, slathered in a weak, watery glaze that matches the trash trades he sends, like offering a third-string quarterback for your RB1. Snag these at ZC'sHeartbreakwings.com and use the code BenchBurn for a free dipping sauce and let the heat numb your losses. Alright, back to the pod. Okay, guys, here we are. We have some hate mail, and this one's to the Wyoming Redskins. So I'll be looking here. I got it from a viewer. So, dear Wyoming Redskins, this is a lifelong fan. Congrats on turning fantasy football into performance art. Your lineup decisions are like Josh Allen in the red zone, chaotic, unpredictable, and destined for heartbreak. You benched more points than the Bills have Super Bowl wins, which that's not hard. Which is saying something because that's still 0. Yeah. Watching you manage your team is like watching someone try to juggle flaming chainsaws blindfolded, because you're 1-5, but spiritually you're 0-17. We started taking bets. What will collapse first? Your roster or the Bills' playoff hopes? Spoiler, it's a tie. Thank you for being the comic relief of a league. Without you, we'd have to try. So sorry about that. That'll be our hate mail for the week. Hopefully we should be having an overreaction hotline upcoming here soon, and then that'll be the end of the show. So we'll have to look at the overreactions from some of the fans this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please go check out ZC's Heartbreak Hot Wings, Buzzed Berry Blends by Caden and Braden, and the Spectrum Snack Shack, including Tyler, Sean, and Julia. Until next week, I am Zane Carpenter, your host of the Good Christian Boys Fantasy Football League podcast.